Hello. Hello.
Bone Musky Dog has added quote number 447, my spear shall pierce all.
My spear shall pierce all, not purse. I didn't know that was even a word. How dare you? Wait, have I posted everywhere correct? No, I haven't. I'm a nimmy. Oh, hi there, Max! Hi. Your name is very familiar. I'm trying to think. Doriuz, from Fiona's server. Yes, that's the one. Hang on a second. Is it okay? In 30 seconds, I'll swap over to like my thingy-majiggy's screen, and because it'll be fun, like me trying to be like, right, this is the Max I know without looking in Fiona's server. I'll do like a random guess. Because I got a feeling. Ooh. Here we go. Okay, nope, that's for 3D art stuff, which I haven't done in forevers. Alrighty, is that everywhere I can be posting? I believe so. And then over into here, slap you over here, grab this fella here, and slap you to the left, and then bam! Hi, everyone! Hi. Okay, so who was here first? Bone Mask was here first. They're a little bit sleepy, so I understand if they're a little bit tired. And then we got Max. Now then, I see you do streaming too. Well, I've been getting into streaming as well. Hey, nice going. I'm gonna be real. Streaming is not the first thing that pops into my head. Here are the few things that like. Here are the few things that pop into my head when I'm thinking back to Max from Fiona's server. You have a crocodile like icon. That's what I remember. And you're like one of the like more like you're not gun crazy, but you have a special interest in guns. I almost typed slut. Wow. I don't have a slut or a horny meter. I should probably make like just an automated response when someone types an exclamation point horny. I should just write, "You're here, aren't you?" Trying to look at zebra titties. Anyone that knows me before the streaming, not a croc profile picture, you have an otter. Fuck, who am I thinking with the crocodile then? Did you ever have a crocodile or alligator? Like, it was, like, it almost looked like a crocodile with, like, shades or something. Fuck. Damn it. Well, that pulls out, wait, do you have any, like, do you have, like, any, like, sort of recollection? Like, did you ever care about guns? God damn it. Now I have to look in Fiona's server and just sort of be like, Control F, max. Where the fuck is Fiona's server? I've not been in it for a long time because things were... You now own a Mossberg 500. I don't know what that is. Mossberg 5... Oh, it is as exactly as you wrote it. Oh, that's a, like, chink chink. Oh, this would probably piss you off. Hang on a second. One of the fun features of my stream that I do not have too many people deal with whenever I bring it up. This is my gun. It may look like an M1911, but observe. Amazing. Isn't it great? You too could never own one of these because it's not real. It is mine. It is the Z1911 2023 edition. You apparently have a baby face now, so that's fun. Oh, did you shave? So the Mossberg 5, like that is a very, like, I want to say common shotgun, I want to say. Like, anytime you see shotguns in, like, popular culture and in video games, because of the fact that it's pump action, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, like, if you had to ask me to, like, point to a shotgun, it's either going to be the Spaz 12, you know, the Italian thingamadiggy that you see in Jurassic Park, where the hunter has it, and it, like, does the thingamadiggy, and he just goes, like, zhunk, and it's, like, even though it's a pump action, you can still, like, shoot it, like, automatically style, like, you just go ding ding. You regressed 7 years, apparently, according to your BFs. You shaved, didn't you? Don't ever shave if you're trying to be more mature. Also, let me get my gun back in there. Gun time. It's either the Mossberg or the Remington are the most common of video games.
3-month tier 1
Ooh!
Mew.
Mew! Thank you for the 3 months! Congratulations! You don't have to deal with advertisement, and you've been at it for 3 months, so which of these of your favorite emotes are yours? I got a few of these. I need to start adding more of these into better Twitch TV or 7 TV. I keep forgetting to, and I keep forgetting to also add in any from the 7 TV into this thing. Nice pecs, bro. Thanks. I can do this. So long ago when I like. But not that long ago, Bone Mask likes the butt emote. That's good. That used to be a tier 3 emote, and then I brought it all the way down to tier 1 because I felt like it was going to get a lot more usage if I gave peeps a butt emote. So, hang on a second. So, what's an emote that's on tier 3? Okay, nothing's on tier 3 right now. But yeah, tier 2, I've got a heart emote, and then I got like 5 different animateds, and I'm using all 9 of my standard emotes for like lurking, popcorn, what, Kek W. Okay, so, and then I have like all the follower emotes. Cow sword just going lol. Looking to smack my ass. But yeah, like when I first got this model, like this model was definitely like sort of intended for not safe for work sort of stuff. So I got the shirt technically afterwards, and I asked him to like fix it because when I first got a shirt like this, hang on a sec. Let me see if I can get an image of how Wolk made the shirt the first time, because it's honestly a little bit funny every time I look at the render, because it's like anytime I think back to having that kind of a shirt, it's just like I get what you're going for, but it's a little bit unrealistic given the size of my pecs. Boop. Thank you for the boops. I really appreciate it. You're playing Rubik Kong 64? Oh, no, I'm playing Armored Core. Why, is it saying Rubicon? No, it's saying Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. All right, hang on a second. I need to get to a particular image, and then I want to say it's in Wolk. Oh my god, I have so many things in like the Wolk thingamadiggy because all right, here it is. All right, this was the first render of my zebra. This was before I learned how to use Blender, so Wolk is responsible for this render, and this was the shirt I was given when I got my not safe for work model. It's probably going to be a big image. It's going to be, there we go. And this was back when I had like a really big bridge of a nose. Like, look at that. Hang on a second, let me move this so it's like technically behind me. Like, look at the fucking cleavage in my shirt. And then I had like a really tall bridge nose, like a horse. And it wasn't until like a lot later on that he changed my nose. Give me a sec to find... Oh my god, there's so many like nude renders and latex shit that I can't show you guys. Give me a second. Oh my gosh. Nah, can't share that. Can't share that. Can't share that. Can't share that. Can't, none of, okay. So, a lot of these I can't share you. But basically, like, that was the shirt I had, and it's like, I would rather prefer, you know, a shirt like this, where it's like, you know, because, you know, when you look at a woman's, like, you know, if she has, like, giant fake tits, and she has the shirt on, it stretches across. It doesn't do this, like, dipping thing, especially if it wants to, like, be tight. The curse of having a crap ton of not safe for works of your persona. Yes. So much not safe for work of my persona. I can get rid of this image. Like look at this nose. This nose like now haunts me some days. So yeah, like back when I first it was clipping a lot. No, the nose is just, you know, big. So like, you know, normally like front facing it's like, yeah, you can see my face. But if I did like something like this or even just this, that like my nose originally would have hidden that eye. So it's only until you do like a proper facing. It's just one of those cases of like, oh, how human do you make the furry look face? So then that way it's still like relatively human, but not just, you know, doing that thing with Matt Damon where like, hang on a second. So, cause the last thing you want to do is you do, where the fuck is the image? Where the fuck? Here it is. Like, it's just so like, I don't know who thought this was a good idea when they first did this as like a, oh yeah, you need to, give me a second. How to make it look humanish without being uncanny. Yeah, so basically this, let me make it bigger. Hang on a second. Look at this. That's Arnold over on the right, and over on the left is Matt Damon. Matt Damon. He doesn't actually do it. I just think it's funny that they interviewed him after the Team America film, and they're like, "Oh, did Trey Parker and Matt Stone ever communicate with you about using your likeness?" And he's like, "No, they didn't." But he thinks it's quite funny that their caricature of him is just a movie actor who can't say his own name correctly. Anywho, that's getting off track. Basically, as a furry, you don't want to do this. You don't want to end up with like a superhuman face. You want to have something a little more like Arnold over here. But yeah, there's like this uncanny valley sort of thing you got to be careful of. You got to be mindful of how you want your persona to look. And it's like the tall bridge nose is a very horse thing, but it's a horse thing that I could probably have foregone. Like, here's the other one as well. Like, technically speaking, horses do not have this kind of a jawline. Horses have a much shorter jawline. Like, they should only go to like where it's black on my mouth here. The jaw should not open up as far as my cheeks. Because technically speaking, the horse's teeth go really far back, and it is spooky as fuck if you make a horse have their like lips open up as far back as their jaw, because then you're just ending up with an alligator, and that is not a crossing I was ever expecting anyone to do. He's staring into my soul. Make it stop. Fine. So yeah. Oh my god. So yeah. So that was my persona long ago. Was just a long nose and what have you. But things have improved, because one of my most recent, I did 10 gifted subs for this one. I quite like it, and it was done, bam, by Mutasaur. Look at this. Sorry, I just have to show this off, because like sometimes I get called a Dorito. Whenever those people on Twitter are like, "Oh, send me your PNG so I can smash and pass your PNG tuber or smash and pass your furry." Guess what? I get called a fucking Dorito, and I'm gonna take that terminology back. Just like I take back the terminology of himbo, I'm gonna take back the Dorito. I kind of wanted him to look like Dorito shaped, but Mutasaur went and drew me on top of a Dorito, which I still appreciate. Mutasaur is an absolute fucking amazing sort of they're an artist, they're a streamer from Australia, and she is wonderful. And if you ever have the chance, you should go like follow her and do like a commission. She's awesome, and she's really sweet. It's real fun, that nonsense. So yeah. You know what they both have in common? What, me and the Dorito?
Aria Soulsong paid me to say yes, yes, Grant is a big cute huggable himbo Dorito. We stan.
So yeah, so the next step is, the next time I do a commission is, I'm probably going to be like, "Hey, I need you to do like an anthropomorphization of the Dorito for my zebra." So then that way, like he's just way more Dorito. That is the next step. And then after that, I should get like a graphic designer to get the Dorito logo and replace it from saying Doritos to GrantZeebs. And we'll wear this for like fucking ages, and we'll try and get like an ambassador from Doritos being like, "Hey, you want to sponsor the Zeebs? He loves his Doritos. He's Dorito shaped. Wouldn't it be great? Make him Dorito shaped." So yeah. So that's been my kind of thing. All right, let me get the game started. You're both a snack. Hi, Fakovia. Welcome to the stream. No, Aria, don't pull the lever. No, don't pull the lever.
Huh?
I'm so annoyed. Why you gotta pull the lever like that? Alrighty. Okay. Close the Mossberg. I don't need to see the Mossberg. I need to get Armored Core up and running. Love ya. Thanks. Thanks. I appreciate the bits, the TTS and the lever. So long as you're here. Good news, by the by, for anyone that has a lot of channel points wondering what the fuck to do with it. When I'm going through Armored Core, if there's any boss battles, like boss battles I know ahead of time, or I'm going into an arena where it's literally just a 1v1 of armored cores, I shall run a prediction. You may gamble any number of channel points on whether I win or lose. Perfect. Excellent. So long as everyone understands that, onwards to the game. And yes, it has the PC capture. And then I need to pause the music in the background, because we got our own music. Thank you for the head pats. I really appreciate it. Ding. I totally understand. Alrighty then. Now, to get... Tempting as that man may be, we're not gonna use that man. We're gonna use this man here. We're gonna use a... Actually... Alrighty, so, just so people get an idea... So if I go into arena, like, let's say, against Cinder Carla... I start a prediction. And we're gonna... And I implore upon you, viewers... I forgot the camera was over here. You, viewers, on whether or not I shall succeed in this fight. We're not doing a best out of 3 thingamadiggy as well for this prediction. This is quite literally a, you know, do the voting and see how it is. You're gonna call it a night now. Glad to catch you, Grant. Not to worry, Max. Glad for you dropping by real quick and such like that. I'm sorry I stream in, like, the crazy evenings for Americans and such. I hope you have a wonderful time, and I hope you do all right in Fiona's server and such. Hi there, Masonic. How dare you vote in favor of me losing? Thank you very much. 45 seconds left on the clock. Or less than 40 seconds, because people are going to have to deal with a stream delay. Am I going to win this fight, or am I going to lose this fight? I got chip damage in the thingamadoogies, but I think... Alright, keep to the songbird, but swap you out for the normal missile launcher. Swap you for the heavy helmet, because we don't need the scanning nonsense. Okay, so the Wrecker does the arms thingamadiggy. This one does less of the firearm specialization or the melee, so we're not going to swap to that. That's the all mine, so that's fine. That's fine. That has a better mid and long range. I think that's the one we want. And then... Alrighty then. Everyone's done their votes? One person did their vote. Sup, Benru? The milk jugs bring all the boys to the yard. Do 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 do. My milkshake bring the boys to the yard, and they're like, I'm better than yours. Damn right, they're better than yours.
Kinda creepy to go around ranking strangers, don't you think? Well, whatever.
Damn it, there's a pie in my face.
I'm busy, but you can have the sold data.
Alrighty.
Main system activating combat mode.
Oh.
AP at 30%.
Oh. Darn it. She has a lot of missiles. That was kind of crazy. But you were absolutely correct there. The one person who said I could... that I wasn't gonna win. We're going again. Alrighty. Let's modify the assembly. So this is the burst assault rifle. I am gonna swap down to... I think I'm gonna swap down to the Scudder. And then I'll keep to... Actually, what does the chainsaw look like? And then this one is... Yeah, that one does like a full thingy-majiggy, doesn't it? Wait, what does it look like when it's charged up? I'm doing all right, Fakovia. I'm gonna be real. A part of me kind of wanted to do Mortal Kombat 1's like campaign thingy-majiggies, but I didn't want to like throw people out of a loop of, wait, hang on, it's Monday. Shouldn't you be playing Armored Core on Monday until you're done with it? In which case, I'm like, what are you doing in my chat? All right, so I'll keep to that because of the range, and then keep... Ooh, actual... Oh, I can't because of the EN shortfall on most of these things. Yeah, I'm not gonna go with the detonating thingamadoog. Unless, do I have the detonating thingamadoog? No, I don't have the detonating thingamadoog. Alrighty then. 15 seconds left on the clock. 2 different people are voting that I'm not gonna succeed on this one. Is there no one that believes in me? No one at all? Ridiculous. No one has faith in me. What is with peeps? Hey, someone has faith in me. I think. Well, if I win this, you guys are all suckers.
Main system activating combat mode.
Alrighty then.
AP at 30%.
Darn it. Are you guys like are you in the future or some shit? Twice in a row on like 2 different kinds of strategies? What's going on here? What's going on here? What's with... Who here is in the future doing Ragnarok prediction shit where it's just sort of like, oh, I've seen his failure and therefore it is true. I cannot see a future where he doesn't fail. Gosh darn it, guys. Gosh darn it. Where is the confidence? Where is the peoples who trust in me? Me. You say me. I'm dissatisfied with that me. Alright, what does this one look like? So that's the vertical missile launcher, which would take a little bit of time. Homing missile plasma. I kinda like the 10. And then that one's just a normal missile launch. Like, I can't imagine any better missile launchers than what I currently have. And I'm feeling pretty good about most of them. Like, the only weapon I would probably change is maybe swapping over to this fucking hunk of junk. You had a weird dream about this yesterday. Was it a naughty dream? Have you been looking on my Twitters? Have you been seeing all my different likes and you've been having naughty dreams? In which case, stop it. 30 seconds to go with voting. Come on, there's gotta be someone who believes in me. Anyone at all. Like, look at this setup. Like, I think I've got this. I just need to be a little bit better in the shooting department. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go with... We get an Ian shortfall with the laser shotgun. Fuck it, we're gonna use the detonating bazooka. You lose about 4 times in your dream. Let's go for round number 3. Here we go.
Activating.
Doing this to break fate, to break out of the dreams people have of me. Oop.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Can you stop being predicting of fate, please? Cincher's... Did he win the battle? No, he didn't win the battle. Cincher straight. I believe constructing dreams in my head about your massive daddy Dilkers would be inappropriate. Just a little bit, yes. Just a little bit, because I don't swing that way. Fine, no predictions, because everyone keeps saying I'm gonna lose, so it's just never gonna be a gamble of whether or not I win or not in the 4th one. So let's just fucking go and do this thing. Watch as I lose for like the 4th time because fate doesn't want to change.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
I have no clue what her weapons are. What are those fucking things? Some of them are like, you know, they'll instantly fire, and then some of them are just gonna be like, give me a minute.
Main system activating combat mode.
Alright, here's what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna, right at the get-go...
The AP at 30%.
That was even faster than last time! What the shit? Do I not have my helmet on? Is that the key? Hang on a second. Let me strap into my helmet. Maybe that will do it. Maybe that's the key to things, is I just need to put on my helmet and then wear golden. Hello, Rippa. I'm getting my ass kicked in Armored Core 6. I thought I was gonna win this fight within the first 3. It's now the 5th fight.
Main system activating combat mode.
Yum. Shocking, he says. Oh, Jesus.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Well, her weapon is bullshit. Have I hydrated? No one's asked me to hydrate. The helmet doesn't. No, the helmet will do something.
Fovelet demands you drink.
Fovola. What an interesting... Fovola. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go with the one that's a little more empty. There we go. So that's emptied one bottle. Now we're... Alright, so... there is no point to a lot of these weapons. That's another burst rifle. That's a burst machine rifle. That's a different shotgun. That's a different shotgun. That's a bazooka. Grenade, napalm, stun, bomb launcher. Alright, so the middle is causing additional damage. So whatever does camera distortion, that distorts the legs, that distorts the center. Alright, so electrical does the center damage. That's a baton. Alright, so those... Oh, and then flamethrower does disruption to the legs. What does disruption to the head, I wonder? None of the things I have will do disruption to the legs, I suppose. Alrighty then. OS tuning. I have the points for nothing too useful. I've already optimized the access level speed. I'd probably do more with the repair kits before anything else. Alrighty. We conclude the chapter with this. We'll provide a prototype weapon to ensure breach of the ice worm's coral shielding. I need to use the stun needle launcher for it. Have I thought about doing a chill stream playing Minecraft? Nope.
This will be a joint
Never.
operation led by Bale.
Because here's the problem, is that, like... This is gonna shock yous, but...
About to start.
People don't like chill streams sometimes.
First, some background before we go into detail.
Not a lot of people would think, you know, of watching me while I'm chill. They would much rather watch me going on rants or trying really hard on something. I'm not a big-time streamer where people are like, oh, maybe there's something.
I'll cut to the chase. This is an all-out war against the PCA and theaters across Rubicon. And y'all got the short end of the stick.
Hey.
Take on the worst of our dirty work, hunting the beast of the ice field.
I'm bonking Ripper for that one.
Sure thing, Chief. Tell you what,
Blackie,
I'll watch and let you know how
Rums
badly
match.
that goes for us.
Gun 5, you just volunteered yourself for the front line.
Moving on. Let's talk about how we're going to neutralize the ice worm's coral shield.
Yep.
You'll be dealing with a layered barrier made up of a primary and a secondary shield.
Alright.
Arquebus will provide the means to break the first layer. The state-of-the-art stun needle launcher. Aim for the face, and it will deliver results, I assure you.
Mm-hmm. Alright, hopefully I don't get stuck in a trap.
RAD's cooked up just the thing. A neat little toy we call the overed rail cannon. If we divert
Nice.
spaceport standby power to the ORC, should hit hard enough, assuming we land the shot.
You can leave that to me. I know a thing or two about sharpshooting.
Nice. Thank you, Rusty.
I'll oversee operations on the ground. A ragtag crew like this needs leadership.
Thanks, Snail.
You use some more suppressive fire. I'll send Chatty.
Which means I'm there.
Question of who will be taking charge of the stun needle launcher.
Thank
Me.
you, Jason, for the 22-month tier 1
Jason!
sub.
Thank you! 2 months away from 2 years! Congratulations!
Hello.
You get to use fun emotes and you don't have to deal with advertisements such as this one right here. I'm funny that way. Alright, wait, no, we're not repeating the briefing. Assembly. Alright, so we get an EN failure cookie for Jason. So we get an EN failure with that one. We're going to need to be able to... Alright, so that's the FC. EN shortfall, overburdened. Alright, we're gonna go with you. Because you wouldn't help make it for us. So, yeah, we're gonna go with you. Probably... Let's see, that would do primarily... I don't have anything that's, like, super long range is the problem. That's the best I have long range-wise. Let's see. These do. That does a greater consumption of the energies. Reload ideal weight is. So what's my current weight at? 57. That's at 70, 60. Alrighty, and then that is like my 10 different missiles, which is going to be useful. Alrighty. This will conclude whatever chapter I'm currently on.
Every day you see competing forces working together like this.
You have a question for me? Have you ever thought about streaming older games? Yeah, no, I've streamed older games. I've streamed the Kingdom Hearts series. I started streaming from Kingdom Hearts 1, and then after 6 months of playing nothing but Kingdom Hearts, I finally finished Kingdom Hearts 3 and the DLC that came along with it.
It's time.
Oh yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. Sorry, not Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 1 was a bit of a ride. I'm not a huge fan of it, to be real with you. I'm not a fan of when people take the D&D RPG mechanics and they try and do it as like a live action thing of like real-time strategy. It's like, I don't think that way. Don't give me Guitar Hero for something I would normally start pulling the protractor out if it was real life.
Activating compass.
Give me time. Give me the Baldur's Gate 3 experience.
Mission. Michigan will take command.
Oh,
Commencing
Jesus.
operation with combined AC force as per the Balaam Archibus agreement. Move out, maggots! Time to die!
Okay. Oh,
Professional outfit and you might live.
Who does that creep think he is? I ain't here because I wanna be.
oh.
We gotta deal with those pesky shields first. Gun 13, roll out that fancy gizmo that Archibus paid
Oh.
big bucks for.
Yeah, just give me a second.
To the head. The rest of its body is covered in thick armor.
Where is he?
B4 Rusty. Rail cannon is good to go. Don't die before I get a chance to fire, buddy.
Tourist, got a message from the chief for you. Enjoy the show, and don't forget
I
to
don't
smile.
care what
No,
gender
Flu,
you are.
not right now.
Put
I
on
need-
the maid
I
outfit.
ain't going down first.
God damn it. Oh, Jesus. Where the fuck did those come from? I need a better sight line. Oh,
That ringing's getting worse.
Gun 5, return fire!
gotcha.
Primary shield disabled.
Shield loss confirmed. Initializing ORC firing sequence.
Give me...
Connecting EML modules. Opening energy turbines. Output at 80%.
Shit.
Sighting correction A-OK. 90, 95. I won't miss.
Secondary shield down.
Oh,
Gun 13, the head's open for a direct hit.
there we go. Good hit.
That freak actually did it.
Did what? The bare minimum. This is just the first hurdle.
Alrighty.
Targets deployed drones, tourist. I'll handle them.
Thank you. Alrighty. Just give me a straight shot. Oop.
Do this to me, Headbringer. I'm not going down first.
Pathetic. Is that all Balaam's red guns can muster?
I see Archibus at the top Vesper to provide running commentary. Gun 13, show him how actions speak louder than words.
Thank you. Give me a second.
V4, load the next shell.
One step ahead of you, Commander.
Alright, there's the next one.
Skirt on straight. Never thought about switching sides?
Shit.
Sure as
Didn't get a hit.
Praised by the Red Guns, hell on 4 legs. But I'll pass.
So,
Badly independent mercenary.
alright. How's it going, Flu? Would you ever film? Why all these questions of would I play these? Like,
Michigan will take
I want to play this.
commencing
I want to play Mortal Kombat. There's things I want to play. I'm not a big time streamer with like 8 hours of play. Oh, Jesus.
Who does that creep think he is? I ain't here because I want it.
Gotcha.
Primary shield disabled.
Nice.
Shield loss confirmed. Initializing ORC firing sequence.
Got the first hint.
Connecting EML modules.
Waiting forever for part 2 of Mortal Kombat. You only have to wait until Wednesday. Or I get so angry with this game that I decide to swap over to Mortal Kombat 1. But that's probably not going to happen.
I won't miss.
There you are.
Secondary shield down.
Gun 13, the head's open for a direct hit.
There we go. Nice. Alright, get moving. Fuck! I missed!
He actually did it.
Did what? The bare minimum. This is just the first hurdle.
Yeah, I hear you, I hear you, I hear you. Just give me a...
Drones, tourist. I'll handle them.
Thank you, because I've just got a shit ton of missiles. Fuck, where is he? Oh boy.
Do this to me, Headbringer. I'm not going down first.
Is that on Baylor's Red Guns muster?
I see Artemis at the top Vesper to provide running commentary.
I need... Oh,
Show him how actions speak louder than words.
yeah. Give me a second, Michigan. Not exactly having the best time trying to get the worm. There you are, you son of a bitch.
Primary shield disabled.
Shield loss confirmed. Preparing to fire rail cannon. Energy turbine output at 80%.
That's not good.
Output 95%. 100%.
They were hoping to do a Mortal Kombat sequel. That's the thing. Oh, Jesus.
Shield down.
It's all yours now, buddy.
Oh.
Wait, something's wrong.
Oh,
Back 621. What? We've underestimated this beast. My AC's compromised.
shit.
It's out of control.
Looks like things just took a nasty turn.
Oh, thank Christ, Chatty Stick is still alive.
Maximum output. We can't afford to lose control of the situation. This next shot will be my last.
It's fair. Over there. Oh, shit.
Taking significant damage.
Oh,
Checking out soon, tourist.
don't do that to me so soon.
50%.
Fuck. They're not the worst. Oh, there you are.
Not through yet. Its primary shield is getting stronger.
What?
Stay cool, buddy.
Come on. Gotcha.
Primary shield down.
Alright, stay alive.
All EML modules connected. Energy turbines at full capacity. Output at 80, 90. All emergency valves closed. Disabling limiter.
Okay.
100, 110.
Where the fuck is he shooting from?
Output.
Come on. Oh,
All or nothing.
there he is.
Target's coral shield has been wiped out.
On you now, buddy.
Come on.
Now response is getting stronger. Hurry!
Yes. Woo. But yeah, Yeah, no, the most recent Mortal Kombat, the live action one, that was pretty good. I quite liked it. Oh, Jesus.
You shitting me? The freelancer really did it.
Hell the fuck yeah, I did it! And in a maid outfit. It's just been bad casting. Every movie lately has felt like it's been bad casting. I don't think so. I am very much a fan, like, I don't think casting has been an issue in the Mortal Kombat series, especially the most recent one we got. Like, the guy we got for Kano, he was awesome. Chun-Li, sorry, not Chun-Li, Liu Kang, he was awesome. Kung Lao, he was awesome. Like, we've not had bad casting. We'll have maybe, you know, sort of less than stellar writing and, or, you know, less than stellar sort of commitment to not only being, you know, worthwhile to the fandom, Mortal Kombat, we're already, because let's be real, Mortal Kombat already does a fairly good job making their own movie. Most movies, yeah. Okay, fine. Most movies. I just rarely will I ever point to video game movies ever being a case of, oh, bad choice of actor. It's like, those aren't normally the issue, especially with the amount of fan casting we do and what have you. Oh, hey.
Go get your rest, 621. Things are going to get busy.
Oh, boy.
You did good.
Thank you. I appreciate doing a good job. Yay, we finished, I want to say this is chapter 3?
The temporary alliance between the Arquebus and Balaam groups turned the tide of war,
Okay.
devastating the Planetary Closure Administration forces and exiling them from Rubicon.
Oh, damn.
Though it was the Iceworm mission led by Balaam that dealt the decisive blow, Arquebus, through their own engagements with the PCA, augmented their strength with seized weaponry.
Hmm.
The balance of power was broken. The scales tipped in Arquebus's favor. And the Rubicon Liberation Front's hopes of fighting an exhausted foe were dashed.
What?
With the loss of their common enemy, the rival factions' war for the Coral abruptly reignited.
Ooh. You've always seen the cinematics in game as the movie to the video. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying is that Mortal Kombat is like ever since Neversoft has done their thing since Mortal Kombat, I want to say 9 or the first reboot, it's been a cinematic first, which is, you know, difficult to do.
621, entering standard mode. 2 new messages.
Doing okay, 621?
Eh.
I wanted to let you rest some more, but the corps are on the move already. With the PCA gone, it's back to work, getting to where the Coral's gathering.
Okay.
Do you remember the survey you carried out at Xylem?
Vaguely.
Analyzed the data and learned about a massive facility under the central ice field. Watch Point Alpha. Turns out that the Iceworm was defending the entrance to that place. It's time to let ourselves in.
One that you'll always orgasm over is the cinematic quality of Diablo 3 and 4. That's cool. I've not played any of the Diablo games.
That friend Walter mentioned.
Oh, who's the friend?
The comms database has no record of the conversation he just told you about. This isn't about just finding the coral, Raven. He's after something more, and he's using you to do it.
That's problematic. What the fuck is he after? Do not pull that lever. Do not pull that lever.
Raven, your records have been updated.
Darn it.
A-rank virtual encounters are now available in the arena.
Nice.
May these encounters further guide your technique.
Ow. Fuck you. Alrighty. New mercenary data. Thank you very much. Dink. Because I clicked out of it. New parts to purchase. Alright, let's A linear rifle from Bomb. Ooh, what kind of machine gun is this? I'll give you a try. And then we've got... Damn, the handgun seems cool. Another bazooka. Oh. I think I've got an idea. And then... Lol. Alright, and then that's a... Nice. Interesting. A laser lance. Jesus. And then a linear rifle. What's the spread bazooka? Hmm. Don't know how I feel about that one. That one's questionable. At least we can get the stun need. Furry Cures, I don't need you doing that kind of message. It was a little bit funny the first few times, but if your opening message is just to shout, damn it, not worth, I'm sorry to say. So many different weapons and arms we could use. Interesting. Ooh. That's just an overall better booster. Oh. And then we have a long range from that fella there. That would give us an EN shortfall. Good morning, Furry Cures. That's better. Alrighty. Okay, so linear rifle. Alrighty, so assembly. First and foremost, let's grab the jamming thingamadoog. And then we're gonna grab the detonating bazooka onto that arm. Swap you out for the songbird, you out for the songbird. So the idea for the arena is we're gonna use the, okay, so it's my right hand that does like the thingamadiggy. I forgot you were streaming regularly this time. Yeah, I'm always streaming regularly. I always stream regularly, like 3 times a week or something like that. The timings will be on Twitch for the days that I do the regular streaming. Impromptu streams are probably gonna go off between those times. I'll normally send a message when I'm not streaming on these days. Alrighty. So the idea is we use this gun to give like a little bit of misdemeanor about it's a jamming rocket. So the idea is that crafts that are caught, as it says there, crafts that are caught are compromised lock-on features. However, exploiting this trick calls for considerable tactical finesse. The idea is that I use that to try and disable their lock-on. So then that way I have a chance, because like, that way with the multiple missiles they throw off and such like that, I'm less likely to get hit. And then the detonating bazooka is just because it does a shit ton of damage. So, yeah. Like, it's tempting to do the pile driver because it does a lot more, but I need to be up close when I do it. Actually, we'll give that one a try. And then these guys are just because, you know, absolute heavy fuckers. Yeah, other than that, I think we're gonna give this a try. hopefully. There are others in the prediction. Let's see.
Combat Aptitude Evaluation Program, number 11. Rank. What is this?
Kinda creepy to go around ranking strangers, don't you think? Well, whatever. I'm busy, but you can have the zone data.
Alrighty.
Main system activating combat mode. AP at 50%.
Oh my goodness, a raid! Hi there, Lucidity Gears!
AP at 30%.
Oh, Jesus. Nah, darn it. Dream Team! Welcome. Hi, welcome. I'm getting my ass kicked with, Carlo over here. Did I win this? Unfortunately, no, I didn't. I'm gonna need to go back to the drawing board on how to take on this, I have to go back to the drawing board on how I'm gonna be able to take on this, Carla person. But yeah, welcome everyone! My name is Grant. I'm a variety streamer. I don't normally wear the maid outfit. Someone forced me into it for an hour, so I'm stuck wearing it. I am right now running predictions on whether or not I am going to win against these armored cores. Now, I had the one idea of using the, like the rocket thingy-majiggy, this thing, the jamming bomb launcher. The idea is that it would help, you know, reduce the likelihood of me getting hit with the thingy. It almost worked, but I don't think the pile driver works out in my favor. So I'm gonna swap to a grenade launcher. Hopefully that will be helpful. I'm using Songbird on either thing. So we're gonna give that one a try. How was... We just finished New Game Plus Plus. It's worth playing through the game 3 times. Bold of you to try and advise that. I'm probably not going to do... It's taking me this long. It's taking me like 4 or 5 streams to get to like chapter 4, I want to say. I just defeated the Ice Worm. I've not done New Game Plus or New Game Plus Plus. I'm just past the Ice Worm for the first time. I understand there are some people that are like absolutely unhinged with From Software games and the Souls-like, where they're just sort of like pew pew, and they're just like, you know, shaking uncontrollably, dodging all the rain as they then next, like, you know, go into New Game Plus basically 12 hours after its release or something like that. I'm not that kind of good. I am a mediocre sort of gamer like that. I can finish these games, but I'm not going to finish them in style or finesse. I am just going to get away with it, quite frankly.
Main system activating combat mode.
Grant is a himbo. Exactly, I'm a himbo. All right, so...
Trời ơi.
Oop. Could you not? Lord have mercy. God damn, Fokovia. 9%, 97% cuteness, and 92% himbo. Those are some really high numbers. Congratulations, Furry Cures. You hit the 90s on yours as well. And once again, I failed. All right. That thing is doing fuck all. Let's go with the plasma rifle. No more predictions. You believed. I understand people believed in me, but that wasn't enough. You're not from FromSoft, but you've been an Armor Core fan since 2001, and you have every game. So you have definitely... This is my first,
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Oh. Oh, god damn, they hit... Okay, so the thingy-madiggy was definitely helping me out then. So... You're surprised you've gotten that high? Don't be surprised. Sometimes people deserve that stuff. Alrighty, so... This fella, wonder how the missiles are... Actually... The temptation to just simply go... Ding... And where's the other one? Nope, it's not there. All right. Dink. I'm no longer playing. We're just gonna go. We're just gonna return to monkey.
Main system activating combat mode.
Here we go. You're making me lose points. She's making me lose points. Yeah, there we go. 95 himbo and 43 cute. Nice work.
Don't know about the sim.
It appears the data contained an unauthorized message. We apologize. Terminating evaluation.
You keep getting new parts in this one all the way through all three playouts. If you're getting cool parts and being able to make better builds, have you been collecting hidden parts? I have slowly been collecting hidden parts. It's how I was able to get like a flamethrower and such like that. So, and it's also how I was able to get one of those plasma rifles. But again, I'm only at like chapter 4. So, like one of the weapons, like for instance, this is because of doing hunt logs. That one was because of a chest. That one was also because of a chest. This one was because of a chest as well. Alrighty. I think I found my fuck you and find out build. So we're gonna give a try on this guy here. Also, hang on a sec. AC data. Ding AC 12. We're gonna fuck around and find out with this fella. Put your votes in for the first time we're fighting against Cold Cole, who has an AC cold dead sled. This guy is probably on a wheelchair. There are 3 endings, good, bad, and great. So there's I'm imagining there's one for like one for each of the corporations and then one for like the Rubicon Liberation Front is my guess. No spoilers, please. But vote now on your mobile devices or on your PC whether or not I'm gonna win on the first fight or not. I've got my build. We're going with just a massive fucking minigun and missile launcher. We've got 2 songbirds on the back for even bigger damage. Let's see how we go. Nice. We got some people confident in me. That's good. Nice. Excellent. Wonderful. No on all 3 of those. Oh. No spoilers then. Alrighty then. 30 seconds left to get your votes in the oh, Furry Cures doesn't believe in me. Also, gotta put more points than that if you're gonna... like, where's the confidence in people? Where's the confidence? Where's the people going all in? Lucidity. No spoilers. Someone just threw like 6.5 grand on, yeah, I'm gonna succeed. You got baited. Sure you did, Ripper. Sure you did.
Arena Combat Aptitude Evaluation.
Here we go. Rank 10.
Rank B.
Alrighty, so he's using a laser shotgun and a plasma.
Subject AC. Dead sled. Call sign. Cold call.
And he's using... Alrighty. Let's see how we do.
Evaluation.
Main system activating combat mode.
There he is. I see him.
AP at 50%.
Yep. Oh, Jesus! Oop. Ah! That was close. That was closer than I thought. I'm gonna be real with you. Damn. Congratulations, Furry Cures. You most likely got the big... You probably got the big one. Let's have a look. Yeah, Rippa put in so much into that one. I do always appreciate when people decide to put their money where their mouth is. This is exciting stuff. Meanwhile, oh, Furry Cures, you get yourself 2,000 points, but Onyx put more money on the line and got more points. It's easier to dodge more in the air if you do air combat. Noted. I shall do that next time. Actually, if I'm gonna be in the air, what I should probably do is swap over to the tetrapod. Thank you for, looking at my ass. I really appreciate it. Also, what is with my back doing that? What? All right, there we go. Now we're good. Upward. All right, so that's better for the upward thrust, unless... okay, that one has higher thrust, but lower upward and side thing. Oh, but it's not that much lower. Plus, it has a better weight. So I'm gonna go with that one. And let's see, what can I swap you out for? Let's go for the grenade launcher. Alrighty then. Once everyone bets big, then it's just like, I'll go all in. 12 points. Yay. You gonna put any money on the line, Lucidity? You're gonna put any money on the line? Any at all? You must be having big bucks at this point watching these streams. You gotta have big bucks, big gains. Absolute chonka big gains. Come on. quad bases are really hard to dodge with. Well, it's less about dodging and more about floating. I'll be fine. Well, it's all about floating in the air and such like that, because he's using lasers. Alrighty then. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and no more bets. 12 points and 20 points. It's a head-to-head. Here we go. Oh. Oh. Why do you do this to me?
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Ah! Ah! You couldn't figure it out? You had, like, minutes. Literal minutes to figure it out. Congratulations to the one person who betted against me. Congratulations. I did not win that fight, and you get yourself a lovely 32 points. Nice. You're high. Why are you... How are you? What are you? You're not allowed to be high. That's TOS. You can't stream while you're high.
In combat mode.
Yonk.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Ah! Doesn't Twitch tell you to use legal drugs live now? I don't know. You've seen people with 2K just ripping bongs. I never seen that kind of stuff. But to be fair, it's illegal in Queensland. We're not allowed to have drugs in Queensland. It is a no-no. It is an absolute no-no still, because we're not allowed to have fun in Australia. Hi there, Commander Zhao. You done goofed.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
In Australia, drugs are bad, okay? Drugs are bad, okay? You actually read the TOS for Twitch, which is rare for you. No, that's fair enough. Like, I read the like, here's the thing, is, like, they updated the TOS when VTubers started doing, like, pole dancing and showing off their titties and such like that. So a lot of people on Twitch were like, well, this is unfair. And then so Twitch was like, okay, VTubers, you're also responsible for how your appearance looks on stream. So you can't do, like, you can't use data for pole dancing and all this kind of such to be pushed onto the VTuber and such like that. So, yeah, like Ripper says, I was looking for the titty TOS stuff, not the drugs TOS. Because, like, let's be real. I'm probably not going to be streaming while I'm high. And because I live in Australia and I'm 130 kilos, it's kind of insane. I'm never going to be drunk. I'm going to be drinking. If I would ever drink, I would need a lot of drinks And even then, I wouldn't get drunk unless I went for like hard spirits, like on the regular. Oop. You done goofed. Also, why are you...
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
There we go. Damn it. If it's legal in your country, we don't care. That is the short of it for drugs and alcohol, but then there's stuff they'll be flat out about, such as women can't present titties. You can't be gambling on stream with like gambling apps or something like that, which let's be real is a little bit strange that they give that ruling when they still have predictions being a thing. But I guess so long as the predictions don't allow you to put in channel points to do the thingy-majiggy, I reckon they're fine in that case. Alrighty, can't do the reverse join because I'll be over something or othered. Let's swap. Let's try a closer range machine gun and the Zimmerman. Let's try those. Did you ever use light fast speeds? No. Let's be like, I'm dumb as fuck, okay? That's not real. It's not real. Yeah, like predictions don't use real currency, which is the obvious, like, thingy-majiggy. Lost sight of him all fucking ready.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Oh, nice! The machine gun did it. God damn, this thing packs a punch. Fuck the machine gun.
Well done.
Fuck the like the Gatling gun. That little machine gun is so fucking useful. I love that. It's amazing. Hell yeah. Nice. Alrighty then. Dun 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 dun. OS tuning. Don't really care about that. Let's see. Assault armor gives us an additional... These just give us additional charges. Let's see. That does explosive damage fuse control, which would probably be most useful for... Oh, actually, hang on. Direct damage. And then that's the melee, that's the energy. Because I've already maxed out for the kinetic stuff. Damage mitigation. Alright, let me go for the direct damage stuff. There we go. And then... Alright, we gotta go take on fucking Rusty next. That's gonna be something. If you'd like to try one, you can try your main build. I wonder if downloading a build lets you make it without already... Nah, you need to unlock the parts in order to make it. Because they give you, like, the blueprints for the peeps you defeat and such like that. But if you don't have the parts for them, then you can't build from it. So yeah, we're going up against Rusty. After Rusty, we gotta go up against, Honest Brute, G2, Snail, Chatteroos, and then Thumb. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so there's 3 more after this. Wow, such confidence in me. The fight with Rusty was a lot of fun. I'm guessing it was a lot of fun because it's a lot of movement. Let's see, what does this say? The 4th squad leader of the Vespers, the Arquebus group augmented human squad. Pull the lever, Crunk. Ripper is going all in. Come on, Lucidity. It's on your, if you're on a mobile phone, there should, like, if you click on the channel points thing, you then have a little thingamajiggy for the prediction, or it's like noted at the top of the chat. I gotta get more people on this thing. Think of the economy. You could be fueling the economy right now. The made-up economy of himbo gains. It would be incredible, the himbo economy.
Arena Combat Aptitude Evaluation Program, number 9, rank B. Subject AC. Call sign V4 Rusty.
You fueled enough economy tonight, let's be honest? Nah, not enough.
Main system activating combat mode.
Alrighty. Alrighty, let's get into the buildings. Last thing we want is him getting long lines of fire. There you are. Oop. Oh, got him. Oh, Jesus.
50%.
Oh! Oh! Oh, I successfully kicked him!
Concluding evaluation. Well done.
Let's go! I thought I was fucked when he whipped out the double blade and started doing it like the Inquisitor thingy-madiggy. You know the Grand Inquisitor from Star Wars Rebels, where he has his lightsaber blade and he goes whoa, 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 and it's like spinning around a lot and he's just like whoa, 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 whoa. I thought it was gonna be like that. I thought I was gonna be absolutely fucked when he did that, but I succeeded. I had a little under 50%, but I did it. What was the dumbest thing you have done when you were younger? You're asking everyone here. Oh. How young is young? Because I've done something dumb when I was 19, I'd say. Did I win this fight? Yes, I did. Congratulate. Who had confidence in me on the first go? Who had Yeah, Ripper! Nice work, Ripper. Glad I bet it a little. Not to worry, but you gotta bet big. 93% of gamblers walk out before they win big. Congratulations, Ripper. You got paid off for going all in this time. So yeah. So they give you the thingamadiggy. So like if I go into AC data, for instance. So over here is a number of presets. So you've got your basic loader. I can't do Rummy. I can't do Index, Red, Nosiak. I can do Maverick from the looks of it, but it gives me a little exclamation point when I do it. So I'm not too sure like why it... So yeah, this one says I'm like a few money short. I don't know why this one says error. Oh, it's because I don't have the guns. I haven't unlocked them yet. That one costs money. I haven't unlocked that one. Same. Done. Like, all of these things I don't have the weapons for yet. Like, I either don't have the weapons or I don't have the parts. Let's say your teen years. The dumbest thing that I have done. The dumbest thing that I have done. This one is a little bit late in the teen years, but one of the dumbest things that I've done is while I was wearing ankle weights at a LAN party, I dislocated my kneecap. Like, you know, it was on my, like, let's say, for example, like you have like the little like puck thing in your knee, like the actual kneecap. I was doing a swinging kick, so my left leg was up, and I was like I was twisting the hip, and because I was committed, I had to overcommit to the swing, and because of that, my foot was planted on the ground, so my right kneecap went. Like it did a sound exactly like you imagine it in the like as you hear it in the movies, like this honk, like this hollow click. And the people, hang on, I can take off my glasses because this wasn't. How is that embarrassing? That's concerning. Because 3 different people told me, oh yeah, the ankle weights are a little bit heavy. You have to commit to your actions. And I did not listen to and I wasn't drunk either. Like, I was sober. I was only having Coca-Cola and it was midnight. And to this day, I can no longer watch a, I can no longer look at leg injuries because I'm just like, I wince and I think about when I injured my leg. That doesn't sound good. You sorted I see. Oh, it's that kind of, like, dumb thing you've done. Like, accidentally groping a girl in high school kind of thing. Not, oh, I dislocated my kneecap because I didn't listen to anyone. I was an occupational health and safety hazard.
Honest brute.
Alright, I've defeated him last time, I'm pretty sure. Let's see how I do this time. Because he was in, like, a thing. Quick and slow. Ah! You emphasize way too easily, so you can't deal with gore and seeing actual injuries. Oh, don't worry. Because I was wearing jeans, thankfully. So even though it was like poshing out or anything like that, there was no blood or anything like that. I had to call my mom, and my mom did not understand what was going on because, like, she heard of leg injuries before, but her understanding was that I was in a LAN party. I wasn't doing any like intensive exercises. I was literally like supposed to just be sitting here at a computer playing video games with the boys. And I was like, hey, Mom. And she's like, yes, Gran, what's up, honey? And I'm just like, I dislocated my kneecap. And she's like half asleep when I called her because it was midnight. And she's like, huh? What do you mean? You like how? And I'm like, I had some ankle weights on. She's like, but you're at a LAN party. Where were there ankle weights? Some dude had to take the phone off them, and they were like, hello, is this Grant's mom? So here's, and he's explained the entire thing. We already called an ambulance by then, but I had my kneecap like dislocated for like 30 minutes because we called like campus security or something like that because it technically happened on campus, and we thought we had to call them first before we can call the ambulance. They couldn't do anything. So we called the ambulance. They arrived like basically maybe a minute or two after my mom arrived, and she's like helping hold my neck up because I'm just laying on the floor on my side. They asked me what the pain's like, and I'm like, the pain is a numb 2, but if I try and move my leg, it shoots up to like a 10. And they're like, oh, okay, I understand. And they give you a green whistle. I don't know what's in the green whistle, but basically, like, it tastes like Vic Vapor Drops, but it dulls the pain. I think it's technically morphine for all I know, but anyway, it dulls the pain. And they're like, oh, when you like inhale through the whistle, if you want a stronger dose, you just cover up the hole. Normally, you're able to take like 3 or 4 puffs before you're so like, desensitized that your hand just goes, I can't hold it anymore. My mom, the sweetest, like 50 kilogram and tiny mom you would think she is, trying to be so nice. She held the whistle for me. So I ended up like just sucking down morphine like a motherfucker, and I got like 10 or 11 good puffs. I was out of it. I was gone. I was just sort of like 15 minutes later, I'm in the back of the ambulance. We're driving back to the hospital because I had my kneecap dislocated for so long that they wanted to take x-rays, and my mom was like, yep, no, fine enough. I finally come to halfway to the hospital, and she's like, oh no, they've already straightened your leg and it popped back. We're gonna go get a thingy, we're gonna get an x-ray to see you didn't chip any bones or anything like that. And I was just sort of like, wait, what? And it was like, yeah, it turns out like my mom helped hold the thingy, so I normally was only supposed to get like 3 or 4 like full dosage, but instead I got like 10. So thanks, Mom, for nearly ODing me. All right, let's get a prediction going for this fight. Dun, 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 dun. Alrighty then, I reckon. Yep, this is for the left one. Alrighty. Also, thank you if you do clip it. Thank you so much. I'll probably have to wait until advertisement is much closer to the end before I go on with the fight because, you know, advertisement. Imagine if I had in like really bold ads. Yes, I know there's ads. I have like a little bar at the bottom that goes off, and I have a little thingy-majiggy up in the top right. If you look up here. Oh, no. Down, no. Up there. Ding dong 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 ding dong. Alrighty then. Welcome back, everyone. Alrighty, 25% say, yeah, I'm gonna win this fight. 25% says, nah. Alrighty, time to prove people wrong. Thank you for the hyper himbo, I greatly appreciate it. Why is my shirt not bigger? Oop.
AP at 50%.
Woo! Okay, my shirt isn't getting bigger, which is a mistake. Hang on a second. I need to fix that. Hang on a second.
B rank evaluation.
Yay! We finished B rank evaluation. Alright, hang on a second. So, helmet, shirt on, maid outfit, hotkey alternatives. Okay, let's see. So, extra himbo on the WebSocket gives me the extra himbo. Oh, I guess this is made so then that way, like, free shirt, maybe? Who knows? Hang on. Health system, poke, bonk. I wonder... Hang on a second. Monitor. Clothing, shirt, maid, outfit. Outfit, param. I love how my eyebrows are seen as, like, down, like, a lot. I need to, like, fix that. Yeah, I ripped a shirt cannot contain me. And for some reason, my neutral expression is always at, like, 100. But, yeah. For whatever reason, my, my shirt, like, this shirt under here doesn't get, maybe I did that on purpose, like, long ago. Who knows? Alrighty. Got more chips. Got his emblem. Yay. Oh, yeah, that's right. So yeah, I succeeded on that one. So did I win that fight? Yes, I did. Congratulations. Who voted for me?
You have surpassed rank B.
Nice.
Great honor to witness your evolution as a mercenary. All Mind exists for all
Nice. Thank you, All Mind. Arena. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Let's have a look at a sortie. An underground exploration at the first depth. Also, how...
Here's the job, 621.
59 minutes, okay.
You'll be going into that underground facility, Watchpoint Alpha.
Uh-huh.
I managed to talk Arquebus into letting us lead their survey. They jumped at the chance to use an independent mercenary as their canary.
Oh, joy.
Balaam has already barged in, taking several red guns and MT squads. Seems they want to be ready for a run-in with Arquebus's new firepower.
Oh, joy. I'm not their new firepower, so that's gonna be a problem.
A vertical chamber sector. It's likely you'll meet resistance from autonomous defenses left by the PCA. The worst of them is lurking at the bottom. Nepenthes, an energy weapon platform.
It's 5:39 a.m. I should really get going. Not to worry, Lucidity Gear. Thank you so much for the raid. I greatly appreciate it.
Don't want to end up like Balaam after all. Tread carefully.
Alrighty, so if we're dealing with a lot of autonomous systems, I think I'm going to swap out from the plasma to the missile launcher. Songbird is just really useful for the whole, you know, shooting things out of the thingamadoog. Zimmerman I'm gonna keep too. You, however, I am going to, let's see, so this one gives me quicker standby time for the scan. It gives me a better systems recovery and a scan, it gives me twice the scan distance, so I'm probably gonna go for use. And then this is honestly better than a lot of other things. Didn't realize I had that core. And then this is the All Mind, which gives me a lot better defense. You couldn't sleep, so you're pulling an all-nighter? Why are you doing that? Also, is there an All Mind here? No, there isn't. All right, no. Let's swap the arms. Let's swap the arms back to the Nuttree Tizer thingamadoog, because I'm pretty good with the rest of the stuff. Let's have, so that... that would reduce my boost speed. This would increase the boost speed. It would lower the EN capacity, but my weight would be a lot lighter. So we're gonna go with use. Save that AC data. Sleep doesn't want you, I guess. I need to come up with new colors for my,
They're deep inside.
I need to find new colors for this AC, because, you know, it's... It could be better. It could be a lot better.
621. You ready?
Ready as I'll ever be. You're just gonna drop me in a hole? I don't think Balaam would just let me waltz in. Why are they opening the door?
You'll be going down deep, and there's no guarantee you'll come back.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You're the only one who can do this. I'm counting on you to reach the coral.
Main system activating combat mode.
Commence mission. Access the elevator and take it down.
Why don't I just fall all the way down? How many hours do you have in the game so far? Fucked if I know. Oh, wait, hang on.
Intruder detected.
22 hours.
Commencing termination.
The defense
Oop.
system is activated. It's got eyes on you. Fight back.
The elevator's locked out.
We have no choice but to jump. Let's go, Raven. Watch out. Below you. That's the Penthees. It's clearly a force to be reckoned with.
Wait, the partition's moving.
I'm picking up enemy signals nearby.
Containing intruder. Commencing termination. Signing intruder threat level. Threat level 4. 6. Level 6. Resistance to
You're clear. I'll find a way to get that partition open. Stand by for now, 621.
Over there. I've sent you a marker.
I see it. And there's a chest. Okay, quick access.
Find an access point. Good job sniffing that out.
unauthorized access detected. Transitioning to phase 1.5.
That's a problem. Alrighty.
It's changed its combat routine, Raven. Watch out for those plasma missiles.
It's tracking you, 621.
Evasive action.
2 repair kits remaining.
You've got it in your sights now, 621. Just need to get a little closer. You're up close now, 621. Destroy the target.
Raven, it'll be easier to immobilize if you aim for the neck joint.
AP at 30%.
Dependencies sustaining damage. Overriding Chef 1 defense plan.
And the Penthees artillery platform is silent.
Alright. Now to find...
Confirmed. Target destroyed. Mission accomplished.
Let's rest while we can, Raven. We've got a long road ahead of us.
Okay, so that's the first depth, and I think we got at least one of the chests. That explains a lot. You have a little over 122 hours. Yeah, I don't have a lot of hours into this. Like, I've not done a lot of offline play of this thing. Most of what you've seen is what I play. I've probably put in like maybe 3 hours of not on stream play to this game, which is very different to how I normally play some video games with RPG mechanics and such, because my concern is I don't want to go ahead of the story or anything like that.
No new messages.
I've done like grinding and such in The Surge 2, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, but I've not done it for this game here. I've done a lot of grinding in Elden Ring, for instance, but yeah. All right, new legs. What are you like? A much higher jump distance, less altitude stability, and a lower load limit. My EN load increases, however, and for some reason I can hold my arms better? What? Huh? Okay. The boost speed goes up. I don't exactly want to, like, because I like what this is at. So, like, this would reduce the weight, like, quite a bit, but you almost didn't play the game aim at all off stream. Oh, okay, so this is sort of being your thing for, like, a lot. Alrighty, so yeah, this is what he looks like right now. Is there some way for me to, like, here we go. Select. No! Discard edits. All right, hang on. Entire frame. Select. Paste. There we go. Alrighty then, so. Alright, so let's swap to... Are you planning to make a Metal Gear? I don't know. Nah, I don't like the blue. Actually, hang on. We'll keep to the blue, but let's swap the legs out. hang on. What did I get? 120. Okay, so let's swap you out for... So 217, 120. And then change the reflectiveness. Ooh. Let's see. All right, let's change the supports to a bit of a gold, I would say. Wait, what does that look like? That's very Iron Man-y. I don't exactly want to go with that. All right. So let's have a look at the body. Ooh, actually, hang on, I got an idea. So swap to you just real quick. Copy. So that's a 122. Let me cook, chat. So... All right, so pattern 8. My day's been good. No, you asked that a long time ago, I feel. Alrighty. What do we think? Not bad? Nice. I don't know how I feel about the pattern nonsense, however. Like, nah, let's give you the... I don't know why, I like uniform. I like keeping the colors uniform. Do you want to hear about a crazy lawsuit that... I don't know if I want to hear about a crazy lawsuit, I'm sorry. Alright. New AC data 14. Is there a way for me to change my AC name? There is a way. Is there any better weapons I could be giving my guy? Detonating thrower, I don't know how I feel about that one. The laser lance, bit of an ask if you ask me. Ooh. That one seems a bit of a gimmick. And that's a weirder missile system. Hey, Incineroar! You can't grab at me like that when I'm looking through all my guns! Spread bazooka... Eee! Sure. Nah. Actually, hang on. These are the different generators. Circulated system, long range, just in case, chat. Just in case. What the fuck is this bipedal? Jesus. Hey, a new tetrapod. Nice. Developed by Balaam. How's it going, in you little Incineroar? And then got interesting looking arms. I'm fine with the arms I currently have. Let's go down to the next one.
Here comes the follow-up 621. You're going to be exploring depth 2.
Oh! What was that?
Sectors made up of a sprawling rail network designed to transport.
What was that in my neck?
It'll be a complex route with a lot of blind spots.
What was that in my neck?
Quarters combat.
What was that?
There's something you should know.
That...
I've obtained the comms log from the Balaam squad that went in before you.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like they have another mission here, and it's not part of their survey. Guard mechs won't be the only threat. Balaam's agenda is just as dangerous.
Oh my god. Secret knowledge happening. Continue infiltration. Extra reward based on the number of enemies destroyed. Nice.
Just so you know, 621, my radar won't be able to reach the lower depths. You'll have to trust your eyes and ears.
I'm sorry, what? Anna better help me. Anya.
Main system activating combat mode.
Activating combat mode. Stage 2.
This is where the survey begins in earnest.
Alright, that's the first one out of the way. Oh, god damn you. I thought those were one-shots. It would have been cooler if they were one-shots. The fuck is this place?
An ambush.
Been waiting for you, Raven. You're gonna die, traitor.
Sounds like you found Balaam's MTs. Eliminate them, 621.
Damn you, Archibald.
Control panel identified. This should get the power back online.
Go suck a lemon.
You go suck a lemon. A sketch by STV, a masked battlefield artist said by some to be one of the last artists to dedicate his career to the art of hand-drawn portraits. His work commands a high value among collectors in the know. STV notes, awful bunch, never again. Lol. Oh, hello. Interesting. Didn't know there was...
Back online too. Let's take it back up to the upper level.
Alrighty, so... Oh. Psst.
The partition should open now. See if you can get access.
Stupid me. Alrighty, let's give this a try.
The heat exchanger section's up ahead. This is around where the comms log for Balaam's advanced squad cuts off. think lost it.
You're my ticket back above ground. Let me tell you, I'm sick and tired of this pit. It'll all be over once your sorry ass is dead. My ears. Not now. That quack messed me up.
One repair kit remaining.
Learned some new tricks, huh? I know you're laughing at me. What makes you so special, freelancer?
AP at 50%.
This isn't over. Next time, I swear I'll...
Confirmed. Gunfire
God damn.
down. Being trapped down here, it's dangerous.
Noted. Question. Why was he trapped down here? Because Balaam's advanced thingy-majiggy, like, were they forced to stay down here? Did they really have, like, no other means? Alright. Here we go.
Defense program, phase 2.0. Intruder identified. Threat level 7.
Oh.
What was that?
That's a high threat. Oh shit. There he is.
Raven, watch out.
Oh,
Weapon must be guarding the step.
Yep.
See what data I can find.
Professor Nagi's logs. Coral is an organic substance capable of self-propagation. The speed at which it proliferates is determined by the density of the colony. As such, a vacuum would provide an ideal environment to maximize coral density and thus growth. However, one must not overlook the signs of mutations within the coral brought about by this density effect. It is mutations such as these that will bring about a collapse that humanity has no hope of controlling. Where are you? I can barely see you from there. Oh, hello. There we go. Oh, please don't tell me that there's a coral thingamadiggy in here that we're gonna have to run away from. Oh! I done goofed. Is that it? Oh, that was a waste. Oh shit. There we go. Made it. No need to panic, chat. I'm expecting another chest somewhere in here. Hence why I'm like... Oop.
Intruder proximity to critical sector confirmed.
AP at 50%.
Nice. Gills. never heard of such a thing before.
Looks like we're not far from the terminus. Let's find the control room. We'll hack the systems and get the partitions open.
Alright, is it wanting going... Alright, so they're all down there. But I don't have a way down. Oh, maybe not from this... Maybe not from this level. Hang on a second.
Raven, let's look for a ventilation duct. We're underground. There must be one somewhere. Ventilation duct identified. Looks like it's connected to the control room.
Nice. I didn't fuck up that one. Nice.
2 repair kits remaining.
We're in the control room. Now let's find an access point.
That's not what I wanted to do.
Repair kit remaining.
There we go. Slow but steady wins the race. There we go.
I forced the partitions and the elevators back online. System is onto us, but we should be able to proceed.
That doesn't sound good.
Sailing 621. As if you hardly need help from me, but you get so good at exploring.
Alrighty, here we go. Alrighty, more supplies, please.
I expect that defense weapon will be waiting for us.
Yep. I'm not 100% certain if I have the right weapon for it either, so...
Jai,
I know. There it is!
Sector. Defense program phase 3.0.
Oh god.
Switching to termination mode.
That is a hunky boy.
Terminating target.
I'm guessing that's another coral machine.
Enemy analysis complete. That That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%. AP at 50%. No repair kits remaining.
Oh, I was hoping you would be a little bit closer than that.
AP at 30%.
A lot of ricochet damage, annoyingly enough. Nah. I went further than I anticipated. Like, that was like, what, a third? Pretty decent. But yeah, a lot of ricochet damage. He doesn't dodge a lot, though, so I can probably swap out from, instead of using you, using the detonating bazooka for more impact damage. Probably better using the plasma. And let's swap you over for a little more heavy duty. That way, because we no longer have to scan distances or anything like that.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 30%.
Oop. That was a lot worse. Alright, so I can't really... I need to keep moving with you. So... be mindful of that. Alrighty. We've got the machine gun to help us do...
Enemy analysis complete.
And you still shave damage off me, do you?
Prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50. AP at 30%.
Termination complete.
That's even worse.
Resetting defense phase.
Let's give the stun bomb a try. Let's give the stun bomb a try.
Enemy analysis complete.
Could you, you know...
Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
Hello. At 30%. AP at 50%.
Yep. Hi, YY.
Resetting defense phase.
Alright, so that stun bomb doesn't help as much as I had hoped. Let's try a pulse weapon. Do I have a pulse weapon on this hand? No, I do not. Alrighty, let's stick to the shotgun on you. And swap over to... Let's swap over to the larger of the pulse weapons. And let's go with... Let's go with a detonating, because you're going to be moving around quite a bit. Alrighty, so...
Enemy analysis complete.
Damn it.
That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy troopers. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
2 repair AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
One repair kit remaining.
Up.
AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Termination complete.
Well, I got him down to halfway, so that is a valid technique. I just need to be a little more mindful with the, with my distance and the weapons he decides to deploy, because it looks like lasers.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 30%. AP at 50%. AP at 30%. AP at 30%. AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Complete. Resetting defensive.
I need better dodging, because every time I do the boost thingy-majiggy, I'm still not out of range of his lasers. I'm gonna need more energy. Alrighty. Alright, boosters. Yeah, that's an overall big boy, but I'm gonna go with you. You should do better for me. I'd be overburdened with the reverse joints. This one would lower my weight. It doesn't lower the AP that much, thankfully. So we're gonna give you a try. And as for energy, I get overburdened by most things, but I am running out, like when I do the dodges and such. So I need that boost to go off.
Enemy analysis complete.
And once again,
Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was
oh
designed to
Jesus,
defend key watchpoint sectors and
that is a different technique to normal.
they wanted it to stay hidden.
2 repair kits remaining. AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
Oop.
AP at 30.
Termination complete.
Thank you, Red Pro, for the follow. And that was not that good of a run. Let's try that again. Alright, you don't do enough damage. I get overburdened with you guys. Let's have there. This overburdens me? Damn. Most of these overburden me, which is problematic. Let's see. So that does less damage, more ammunition, less impact. So that's probably our... and then let's swap you... Let's see. So that's a stun bomb launcher. That's a laser gun. That's a missile launcher. Yeah, alright, so we're going with you. Alright, let's see,
Enemy analysis complete.
There we go.
That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50. AP
Oh.
at 30%.
Come on. How did you beat that? Alright, right bumper is not... The right shoulder is not a good weapon. The detonating bazooka isn't helpful because it doesn't do, like, a direct damage thing. It's not helpful in this regard. Because I'm using it, like, several times, and it's not, like, a on-point hit. I'm overburdened with the 10... I'm overburdened with the laser. Oh, I'm overburdened with everything. All right. Swap back to the songbird, and let's head back to this because I might be able to. I might be able to do the dodging out of the way thing.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 30%. AP at 30%. AP at 50%.
Oh. And once again, I absolutely miffed. Nope.
Termination complete. Resetting defense phase.
Well, at least I explode. Have you finished Starfield? Nope. I've dropped Starfield from my streaming thing because Starfield it's just one of those games that's not like I don't feel it doesn't feel enjoyable to do on stream. It feels enjoyable if, for example, I was like, say, for example, just looking for something to do idly and such like that. It's not so much fun in... Hang on a sec, which one? I was going to go for this one, because then that way I had more thingamadoogs. It's not so enjoyable playing it on stream, especially if I want to try... Because when I'm on stream, I want to try and accomplish story. I want to try and accomplish story when I do these things.
An AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
Oh.
AP at 50%.
Oh.
Phase 3.5. Platform. Releasing output limited.
Oh.
Configuring energy draw and maximum value for all actuators.
Oh.
Terminating
One repair kit remaining. AP at 30%.
I got it below 50%, and then it just decided to completely change its strat, and I was like, oh, I'm panicking. But we've got our build. We've got our build for this thing. For now, at least.
Enemy analysis complete.
Ah, once again.
That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and
Oh.
intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP.
Nah. I need to dodge the first thingamadoogies.
Enemy analysis complete.
And I didn't dodge.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 30%. AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Nah. Now comes the...
Enemy analysis complete.
Now comes the try hard thing.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Nah. I can't get caught up in its...
Enemy analysis complete. Enemy analysis complete. Enemy analysis complete. Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 30%. AP at 50%. One repair kit remaining. Light and ammunition at 50%. AP at 50%. AP at 30%. No repair kits remaining. AP at 50%. AP at 30%.
Ah! I wasted a lot of my health on the earlier part of the fight, but I'm practicing. I'm getting better, chat. I've gone through too many checkpoints to give up now.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
Two repair kits remaining. AP at 30%.
Termination complete. Resetting defense phase.
Once again, scratching the top of my foot with the bottom of my foot. What the hell? What was that noise? Hands? No, you're working.
Enemy analysis complete. 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 That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
Termination complete. Resetting defense phase.
Why does AI have to be so fucking armor heavy?
Enemy analysis complete. Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 30%. Two repair kits remaining. AP at 50%. AP at 30%. Right-hand ammunition at 50%.
Phase 3.5. Pattern easy. Releasing output limiter. Reconfiguring energy draw and maximum value for all actuators. Terminating intruder.
No repair kits remaining.
Threat 7, 8. 30. Threat to cryo explosion.
Oh, I thought my blast thingy-majiggy would have stopped his little combo, and it didn't. Ow. Closer than normal, though, so that's nice.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 30%.
Oh. Nah. Oh boy. Am I just gonna heavy tank this nonsense? Let's give this heavy tank a try. Alright, hang on. Let me... AC data. Oh my god, I can't save my current AC. God damn. Alright, AC data. Where is... I think this is the one I want? Yep, that's the one I want. Restart from checkpoint. Here we go.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Okay, how did you dodge that? You have to tell me.
AP at 30%. AP at 30%.
Phase 3.5. Planet leaving. Releasing output limiters. Reconfiguring energy draw and maximum balance for all actuators. Terminating intruder.
1 repair kit remaining. No repair kits remaining. AP at 50%.
Raven, you're the only one who can complete this survey. Walter believes in you.
Correct 7, 8. 30. Correct priority closure.
Right hand ammunition at 50. Left right shoulder ammunition at 50%.
Termination complete.
Ah!
Resetting defense phase.
Alright, let's go for some long-range stuff this time. Because clearly I'm not locking onto him from a distance. And I need the long range. Let's... Can't use any boosters. FC. Yeah, because none of them go... Let's give this guy a try. Let's see how much of a fuck you energy long-range guns have.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
Two repair kits remaining. AP at 30%. 50%.
Well, that was quicker than last time, so clearly not that much of a long range. Ugh. Alrighty, ding. Alright, let's go with you, because I don't think there's any better. We're at mid-range. Let's see how you two go.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
Repair kits remaining. AP at 30%. Repair kits remaining. AP at 30%.
Phase 3.5. Planet E. Releasing output limiters. Reconfiguring energy draw and maximum balance for all actuators. Terminating intruder. Termination complete. Resetting defense phase.
Alright, so the 10 missile thingamadiggy isn't all that useful compared to Songbird. Darn. Ooh, boy. How the fuck did Avalon do these things? Songbird. Songbird. Let's swap it over to you.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
Two repair kits remaining. AP at 50. AP at 30%. One repair kit remaining. AP at 30%.
Phase 3.5. Planet E. Releasing output limiters. Reconfiguring energy draw and maximum balance for all actuators. Terminating intruder.
Oh,
Termination complete.
that didn't work out as intended.
Defense phase.
Used up way too much. Actually, I wonder, can I get away with not using tank legs and using a different kind of legs entirely. That might be useful. Let's have a look. Using double songbird. Generator, let's go with you. And then swap from these massive legs. Nope. Apparently everything keeps me overburdened. Alright, let's try these ones for size.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
At 30%. One repair kit remaining. At 30%. AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers for
Phase 3.5. Planner E. Releasing output limiters. Reconfiguring energy draw and maximum balance for all actuators. Terminating intruder.
At 30%.
Correct to 7. 8. 30. Correct to priority explosion.
Light shoulder ammunition at 50%.
Oh, got him.
Resetting defense phase.
Not the best. Alright. Back to the old mind. Alright, so I can't have the detonating bazooka or the grenade launch. Oh, oh, that's why, because the core would be too heavy. Hang on a second. Alright, let's try this guy on for size. We're doing our best.
enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 30%. AP at 30%.
Termination complete. Resetting defense phase.
I'm overburdened burden if I use that one. That would reduce the movement. Alright. We're gonna try a completely different...
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding around here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 30%. 2 repair kits remaining. One repair kit remaining. AP at 30%. AP at 30%.
Phase 3.5. Planet E. Releasing output limiters. Reconfiguring energy draw and maximum balance for all actuators.
Nah, used up way too much.
Resetting defense phase.
The flamethrower thought it would be good. It wasn't. So he ricochets. Alright, let's try... Do I have a linear rifle. And then a laser handgun. And, oh, let's try laser shotgun. Let's see how these do.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate intruders. Whatever they're hiding around here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 30%. 1 repair kit remaining. AP at 50%.
Oh. Am I gonna have to Google a guide? Is anyone watching? Are they just like giving up on me failing so much? Hang on a second. The fuck is this thing? I wasn't paying attention to its name. Like, what the hell is it? What the hell are you? Enforcer System. Alright, so Armored Core 6 Enforcer System. Armored Core 6 and I don't think I can beat it in 30 seconds. How to beat the Enforcer. AAA PO3 Enforcer. He's not as tough as he looks. He's weak to high explosives. He is not slow. To beat this oversized, you'll need a beefy build to pack the firepower you need and light enough on your feet to stay at arm's length. Okay. Laser sword and is the dual songbird on your... Cool, so the dual songbird is a good thing. Is going to have to be something compact. The 4-pack, which would do slightly more to it, however, we found trying to stick our missile locks on was a bit of a distraction. Alrighty, so explosive seems to be... could do with the plasma, rockets, healthy amount of melee, it uses all 3 modes of attack in its combination, yada yada yada. There's nothing especially unique about the Enforcer, it's just a tough customer that really packs a punch, whether it goes for a melee combo, immediately take to the air and fly away, the same goes for its electric shock to the ground. Dodging is your best bet. There's no second phase to the Enforcer, so what you see is what you get from the onset. Thank Christ. Doesn't say whether it's weak or against anything. Doesn't give me any information about... Does its difficulty, like, scale as you go higher in... Like, when you go into New Game++, do they, like, increase the damage? Let's have a look. Continue without disabling. 5 is quite resilient to direct. This is partially due to its heavy armor, but because of its thingamadoogs. It does feature characteristics of 1. Recommended build. But he's also fat, ass and dank. You'll need to be prepared to roll and duck. From Blade, you'll need something that can bring down fast. Rolling up to this party with the following build. Right and left arms being the VVC. Keeping the Enforcer stunned as much as possible will be vital in bringing this thingamadoogie to a close. I feel like the double Enforcer will be good.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
Alrighty, now we'll go back into the thingamadoog and rebuild. Where's Avalon? Where's Avalon to tell them I'm getting filtered again? Okay, assembly. All right. All right, let's give this one a try.
Enemy analysis complete.
Would be great if I didn't get punched in the dick.
AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It
Oh.
was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 30%.
Okay, that's bullshit. Alright.
Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 30%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 30%.
Termination complete.
Mwah.
Reset phase.
I'm being just a little bit too quick. I'm being...
Enemy analysis complete.
There we
That's
go.
the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
2 repair kits remaining.
Oh.
Termination complete. Resetting defense phase.
Arg. Arg. Kinda wish I could disarm them, but I can't.
Enemy analysis complete. Enemy analysis complete. Enemy analysis complete. That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 30%.
Termination complete. Resetting defense phase.
Is this gonna be the fight that I just be like, I am just gonna stop streaming tonight, and I'm gonna leave on a loss and feel absolute shit as I go to bed? I don't want to leave on a loss, I'm gonna be real with you.
That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 30%.
Termination complete. Resetting defense phase.
You're gonna head out? That's how you go down the path of madness. I'm not mad. I'm not crazy. Peeps have been able to do this fucking boss like 3 times.
Enemy analysis complete.
I can do it.
That's the Enforcer,
Get in the ducking
an
robot,
AI-controlled
Shinji.
prototype
Yep, that's the plan.
developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy
Don't. There we go.
intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
Termination complete. Resetting defense phase.
Shinji, crank that soldier boy.
Dun 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 dun. How's it going, Code? Have you been playing Armored Core?
Enemy analysis complete.
I feel like the only people who are still playing Armored Core are peeps that are interested in doing the new game plus plus.
It was designed to defend
Oh.
key watchpoint sectors and eliminate enemy intruders. Whatever they're hiding down here, they wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
I understand it's my bedtime, but fuck you, I'm trying to leave on a win here. Fuck you. Oop.
Two repair kits remaining. AP at 30%.
Oh. No money for it? Alright, fair enough. Fair enough, C's. There's a lot of games coming out, so... Like, not only do I have this and Baldur's Gate with you code on Fridays, I don't want to run ahead without you on any of the stuff, as tempting as it would be just making a full week of nothing but Baldur's Gate so I can get to Chapter 2 or something like that. I don't want to, like, skip ahead without you. Baldur's Gate 3, this, Lies of P, what else is there? Mortal Kombat 1, but I feel like I might be close to the end campaign.
Enemy analysis complete.
There we go.
That's the Enforcer, an AI-controlled prototype developed by the PCA. It was designed to defend key watchpoint sectors and eliminate any intruders.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
They wanted it to stay hidden.
AP at 50%.
Evasive maneuvers, Raven.
AP at 30%. Two repair kits remaining. One repair kit remaining.
Phase 3.5. Planet E. Releasing output limiters. Reconfiguring energy draw and maximum balance for all actuators. Terminating intruder.
8.
Correct 7. 8. 30. Correct to fire exposure.
No repair kits remaining. AP at 30%.
Oh, no, no, no! Whoa, Jesus!
Lead-filled light shoulder ammunition at 50%.
Woo! You don't know how close I was to being exploded, and then I just went bam and did the explosion. Someone clip it, please.
Silent.
1,514 health remaining. His
Now time
melee
to
would have
take
killed
the
me.
second form.
There is no second form, dude. There is no second form. There is no second form. Yes. Ooh. Got myself some interesting boosters and some new arms. Oh. All right. Oh. We also get a new head, body, arms, and legs.
No new messages.
Alright, so yeah, this is... Hang on. AC data. Also, this is what I was using, like, color-wise before. So, hang on. Entire frame. So basically this, but then changing the torso to the reverse. And then the head would just be all black. Like, look at that. And then... There we go. Oh, I need to hang on. There we go. I wish there was a way to just load the color data. I wish there was a way to just load the color data, quite frankly. Like, actually, is there a way? Paint? No. Alright. No, that's to do image. That's to do AC data. That's if I... Alright. That doesn't look right. Hang on a second. There we go. That's better. Alrighty. Alright. Music time. Alright, what chapter am I on in this thing, is the question. Ding. Does it tell me, like, so I just went through the depths 2. Thank Christ I don't need to go through it again to get the rest of the battle log. That one's complete. That one's pending, pending, complete, pending. Oh, there's 2 that are pending. Ocean Crossing is pending. That's pending. Complete. Complete. Alright, so I've got a few to go. Oh, chapter 4. It said so in the top right. Alrighty then. That is going to be it for tonight. I will be back online Wednesday night. We're going to be going through Mortal Kombat 1. I am about halfway through Mortal Kombat 1. I am enjoying it so much. The story is fantastic, and I absolutely love Johnny Cage in the campaign. I think he's wonderful. I think he's a real fun dude to watch and such like that. I wouldn't make him my friend. I just think he's funny. Alrighty then. Let's have a look who we are going to go and raid. Oh, Sean River is streaming. I've not seen her stream often. All right, we're gonna go stream into Sean River. She's a lovely furry. I don't know how often she streams, so hopefully she's starting to do a hopefully she's gonna make it a regular thing. Hopefully. And we're gonna go with our classic raid message. Himbo raid. Show us your cutest guys, gals, and non-binary pals, or prepare to get swole. So yeah, looks like she's playing a little bit of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, so it's gonna be something a little more, sort of lower thingamadoog. So that should be good for the peeps that are looking for something just to calm themselves down and what have you. But for everyone else, I want to say thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. Ludicity, if you're still there lurking, thank you for the raid. I greatly appreciate it. And I hope you all have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, as hopefully we'll see you all next time. Bye for now.